Welcome to the Dirt Doctor Show for natural, organic gardening advice. And now the Dirt Doctor, my dad, Howard Garrett.
Thank you, Logan, and welcome back, everybody. Telephone number to be with me is 866-444-3478, and we'll go back to the phones real quick. I want to finish on something I started talking about there in the first hour. I said I was going to talk about a couple more things about the tree that we uncovered as part of the class, the short class on the sick tree treatment. A couple of things show up when you watch the class. One is I had allowed through the years, again, knowing that I was going to eventually do this, and I kind of did it on purpose, and I almost went too far. The first step that we take in the video course is to explain what the symptoms are that you also need to keep an eye out for on your trees that could indicate that the tree's in stress and you may need to do the sick tree treatment. One of the things is what I was talking about foliage color. If the foliage color is a little different than you've ever noticed, that's a real issue, possibly. It could be a temporary stress kind of thing, but it could be something pretty significant going on. Didn't have that in my tree. What I had in my tree was tip growth, dead twigs on the tip growth at the very end of the canopy, and a little more openness in the canopy. You see through to the sky a little more than you should. And I knew because I had allowed, very cavalier way for the soil washing across from the neighbors and across this area to build up soil, and I had allowed compact nandina to grow out around the base of the tree. So in two ways, I had created a raising of the soil level on the base of the tree. And we showed the whole process, taking it all out and how you do that. And it was really cool how it worked out because the flare of this big old tree is beautiful, very symmetrical. It really surprised me how good it looks. There was some circling and girdling and crossing of roots, but not a whole lot, not too much at all. We showed how to do that, how to remove that, take all that off. And it created a situation that I'm asked about the most, and that is a depression. A depression, and in this case, pretty wide. The flare in this case was probably 8 to 10 feet across. And so that whole area taking the soil out, the plants out and the soil out that were covering the area, you end up with a depression there that will hold water. When you water like I do, run the sprinkler system a long time and then skip as long a period of time as you can. But when you're running it a long time or when you get a lot of heavy rains like we went through this winter and this spring, the water will stand in that depression for a while, and people are nervous about that. And I answer it this way: you before you did the root flare exposure, that flare was staying wet all the time because it was down in the soil. Once you have exposed it, you're creating a depression that you'll see some water standing there for a while after a rain or heavy irrigation or whatnot. But then it'll evaporate and dissipate and drain away in most cases and get back to a dry condition. If you have soil that will not ever drain, and that's a possibility. When we did some of the commercial projects years ago that I designed, Frito-Lay was a good example. We created a forest of trees in the parking lot, and the parking lots were raised. They were tilted up at an angle so that the employees could walk across the parking lot and across a bridge and into the second level of the national headquarters. And that buildup of soil was done. I didn't call the shot, but I didn't know really how bad an idea it was back in those days. It was called by the engineers, civil engineers that were on the project. They specified that the soil to build that parking lot up was to be the silt excavated from the big lake on the property that the building partially goes across. didn't drain at all. We did a perk test, luckily, when we are ready to start planting the trees. Perk test means you dig a hole, but before you plant the tree, you fill it full of water. You wait till the next day. We did that. No movement of the water at all. We waited a week. No movement of the water at all. Silt is the most problematic soil there is because it's the finest particles about drainage. So we had to put in a drainage system and do a bunch of other things. I changed some of the tree specification that I used and all kinds of things. But for most of you, it's not going to be a problem. If it is a problem, if you see that the water just doesn't ever go away, it doesn't drain away, it doesn't evaporate, it stays around that tree, what you think is too long, what you do is you dig a ditch, and it's best done with the air spade, the same thing that you created the depression with in the first place, but you can do it by hand with a sharpshooter shovel if you want to, if you're very, very careful about it. But you dig a ditch from the base of the tree, from the newly exposed flare, out to a lower point on the site. And if you use a string level or shoot it, or if you just know which way it's draining, obviously take it out to a lower point on the site. And then you don't need to put a pipe in it or filter fabric or any of the things that a lot of the people will recommend to you. Just simply fill that ditch up all the way to the surface of the soil with gravel. And if it's an angular gravel like a crushed limestone or crushed granite, if you're in some other part of the country and something else is more easily available, that's the best kind of gravel. In other words, not the smooth round gravel or pea gravel, or that's okay, it just wouldn't work as well as the angular crushed stuff. Fill it all the way to the surface of the soil. The ground covers and turf will grow over it and cover it up. But it functions as not only a drainage line, but also a drainage inlet the entire length of the ditch. And so the water will get out from the base of your tree in a hurry if you have that situation. Anyway, we talk about all that stuff in the video, the short class on the sick tree treatment. Where do you find that? Well, go to dirtdoctor.com, click on the red button right at the top of the page, or you can look over there in that box where there's a list of things, and those are the most newly amended or added things to the website. And we keep the classes and the Fabulous Tree slideshow, which is totally free for you to see anytime. We keep them there all the time. Doris, sorry you had to wait so long. What's up in Louisville?
Hi, Howard. I have, as I was explaining to the young man earlier, I have a gardenia bush in the front of my house. My house faces the north. Well, the February weather, like everybody else is having a problem with, did a number on it, and it didn't come back, or I thought it wasn't going to come back. I was ready to pull it out. My son went over and did a scratch test on a branch, and it was green down underneath there. So I left it. Well, a while later, it started putting out beautiful green leaves down around the ground. Mm-hmm. And then waited. Later on, the leaves started coming up. A few of the branches there on the front part of the bush, but the back part of the bush is still just brown sticks sticking up. Do you think they might come out? Is it worth leaving, or should I take those off?
Well, it's not going to hurt to leave them on a while longer. It's kind of unusual that you're having stuff leaf out this late, but if you are, that's great. You could probably take the stuff that's totally bare, and if you cut it and it's totally dry, you could go ahead and cut all that stuff off. But if you want to leave it all for a while longer and see if more of it leafs out, that would be good. You need to, Doris, do the sick tree treatment, even though it's not a tree. Any woody plant will respond just as effectively to the sick tree treatment approach. And the first step of it with a gardenia or a rose bush or a viburnum or whatever you've got is to gently pull the soil away from the base and expose the flare. And it looks like your little gardenia will probably fill back out and be alive again, at least, if not beautifully shaped.
Okay. Howard, I had always had a problem with it not blooming hardly at all, but I guess I just loved it because it had been there for so long and it was little when I planted it, and it did live, so I was attached.
Well, give it a shot and plant another one.
Make it bloom more.
Plant another one and plant it with my organic techniques. Maybe we can get it to bloom better. But let's see if we can get this one to come back and even bloom for you. Okay?
I'm going to do my best. Thank you for your help.
I appreciate the call. I'm Howard Garrett, Dirt Dr. Connie. You'll be next up. Don't go away. And if you want to jump on here, it's 866-444-3478.
Mosquitoes can transmit deadly diseases including Zika virus and West Nile virus, but Summit Mosquito Dunks kills mosquitoes before they are old enough to bite. Just float an organic mosquito dunk in ponds, bird baths, rain barrels, and any standing water to kill mosquito larvae for 30 days or longer. Don't worry, mosquito dunks won't harm people, pets, fish, or wildlife. Mosquito dunks are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and online retailers. For more information, go to summitresponsiblesolutions.com.
We all know that probiotics are good for digestive health, but your skin, too? I'm Kat James, author of The Truth About Beauty. Common skincare products, especially harsh soaps, can disrupt the balance of the good bacteria on your skin. But there's a progressive new approach to skincare that allows you to create a healthier environment on your skin, probiotic skincare. Dr. Ohira applied ancient Japanese fermentation skills to merge his famous pre, pro, and postbiotic nutrients into a revolutionary 100% natural skincare line. The Kampuku Beauty Bar, honored with the Best of Beauty Award by Better Nutrition, beautifully clarifies and rebalances even sensitive skin without drying. The Magaroku lotion and the Hariyubi moisturizer combine Dr. Ohira's award-winning probiotic complex with 14 wild plant extracts plus one of the most skin-compatible emollients known to help restore your natural glow. As a health and beauty expert, I recommend the daily use of Dr. Ohira's skincare products, available at Sprouts and other fine health stores.
Regret going solar? Are your bills more than promised? Is your solar company not responding to calls? Well, if so, Solar Patrol can help. They will resolve any solar issues, help you be informed before purchasing solar, and provide other services that make owning solar less of a headache. Contact them today. Call 469-552-7454 or go to solarpatrol.com. That's 469-552-7454 or solarpatrol.com. Roses are one of the great landscape plants and also one of the best medicinal and culinary herbs in the world. They should be grown organically. When roses are loaded with toxic pesticides and other chemicals, the natural benefits of the rose is squandered. Rose hip tea or using rose petals in teas or salads is a good idea if the plants haven't been sprayed with synthetic poisons. For the best results with roses, buy and plant well-adapted roses for your area. Roses on their own roots are usually the best choice. Planting, watering, feeding instructions can be found on the homepage of dirtdoctor.com. For disease control in general, spray roses with garlic pepper tea. For insect pests, spray plant oil products such as Pure Grow. For thrips, apply beneficial nematodes to the soil in the early spring or when the foliage begins to grow. For serious disease problems, apply the sick tree treatment. And to learn more about growing roses the natural way, go to dirtdoctor.com.
Covering the bare soil around plants is crucial, and there are several mulch choices. The best mulch for any site is shredded recycled plant materials such as limbs, leaves, twigs, dead plants, bark, spent flowers, and other plant debris that grew on the property. That's the natural way, how it is done in the forest and on the prairie. Second best would be purchased shredded native tree trimmings. Third in line is shredded hardwood bark. Pine bark and cypress are not good choices. Pine bark is just bad in general. It won't stay in place and contains chemicals that hurt plant growth. Cypress doesn't break down well. Mulch should decompose to create the true natural food to feed microbes and plant roots. Pine needles are good, but look out of place if there are no pine trees on the property. Lava gravel makes good mulch and has the extra benefit of keeping squirrels and cats out, but lava gravel has its negative points. It looks harsher than organic mulches, and it doesn't break down into humus. The best commercial mulch is a mixture of compost and shredded tree trimmings. For more information on mulch, go to dirtdoctor.com.
Have you tried Medina's orange oil? It's all natural, biodegradable, extracted from orange peels, and has a variety of household and garden applications. Use Medina's orange oil as a soil drench or a plant wash, applying during the cooler parts of the day to prevent burning of the plant foliage. You can clean just about everything with Medina's orange oil, and it smells great. Orange oil lifts stains, and it's even helpful for removing heavy grease and cleaning paintbrushes. This all-natural product is also perfect for cleaning, protecting, and polishing hardwood floors and stained concrete, leaving a beautiful shine. Versions of Garrett juice are also made by Medina and available in sizes from quarts to large totes. Visit online at medinaag.com to learn more about this family of organic lawn and garden products for the home or the whole blooming garden. Medina makes it happen. 59 years young and still environmentally friendly. medinaag.com.
Without good health, little else matters. Good health affects weight, skin quality, teeth, hearing, eyesight, and enjoyment of life. It also affects your energy, controls your allergy sensitivities, and helps prevent the degenerative diseases like diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS, and cancer. Here are a few ideas on living a more healthy life. Drink water from glass or stainless steel rather than from plastic bottles. Plastic, especially the soft plastic bottles, outgasses contaminants that accumulate in the body and negatively affect your health. Eat food that is grown or raised naturally and prepared with little or no processing or toxic chemicals. Exercise regularly. Walk or do more vigorous exercise on a regular basis. Work out with a partner or join a yoga, fitness, or martial arts class. Visit howardgarrett.com today for more information and products to help you live a healthier lifestyle.
Well, Connie dropped off, but she had a shrub question, so she might have gotten the answer from the conversation about Doris's gardenia. But if you had something else, Connie, come on back on here, and David will put you up in the queue. One of the things about shrubs is my last column in Dallas Morning News was about some of the plants that you just need to bite the bullet or cut the top and take them out completely or cut the top off. And I talked about figs. Figs are in that category of having the top die and coming back from the base or, along the trunk somewhere. Loquats are in that category, although loquats, my loquat at home is coming out at the base down near the ground, not from the ground, but down low on the trunk. And then the tip growth is putting out new growth. It looks bad. It's got a bunch of dead in it right now, and I'm going to probably do some corrective pruning on it. I was talking to my friend Bob Webster in San Antonio, and he has a Pittosporum down there that's 100 years old. Huge trunk. I think he told me it was like a 15-inch caliper trunk on a Photinia, and he said it looks like he's totally lost it, which is a shame. It's a gigantic thing. He's going to wait a little bit longer. But those of you with Indian hawthorn and loropetalum and the Pittosporum and things that are still looking just dead as a doornail, it might be time to bite the bullet and plant something else. If you do it, even though these are beds where you've had things growing before, go ahead and add at least some. You may not do the entire specification that I recommend on the website for bed and in the books on bed preparation, but use at least some of all three things: compost, organic fertilizers in one category, rock minerals in the second, lava sand and azomite third category, the sugars or the microbe stimulators, and that would be dry molasses and whole ground cornmeal. If that sounds like the ingredients I recommend for the sick tree treatment, it is. It's exactly the same after you have exposed the base of the plant first, most important step. John in Dallas, what's up?
Well, my green beans are being eaten by what I thought was flea hoppers or something, some small insect that's making holes in the leaves and sucking them dry. And there's no evidence of, I don't see the insects move or anything. I sprayed with orange oil last week and put nematodes in the soil, but it may be just too late to get the effect.
So when you're playing with the leaves and turning them over, you're not seeing little tiny insects that look like they're rolling around on the leaf or anything like that?
There's not aphids or anything.
Well, the flea hoppers or flea beetles and related kind of things you'd still see them, but they'd probably be on the back side of the leaf. They may have done what they wanted to do and have moved on. Flea beetles are among the toughest of the little insects to control. If the orange oil, 2 ounces of orange oil in a gallon of water or in the Garrett juice doesn't do it, the next step I would recommend is to get the product that's called spinosad soap. Anytime you're dealing with an insect that's a tough one to get under control, the spinosad soap is a combination of insecticidal soap and spinosad, and it works as well as anything you can use.
Spinosad soap.
Spinosad soap. It's a natural guard product made by the Fertilome company, a chemical company, but it is it's a one of a kind. I wish some other companies would get into making something similar, but it is it's a good tool for any gardener to have that has a serious insect attack. The other thing that I recommend, and we're recommending this more than in the past, and for good reason, because it works so well, garlic. I always talk about garlic and garlic pepper tea as a repellent, and the first step of an active pest control program. But I think spraying garlic by itself, or with the pepper, either one, but garlic by itself is easier to come across because it's available commercially. It sets up a condition on the leaves of the plant and on the stems that really is effective at preventing problems with insect damage. So you might put that on your agenda. You could also do some garlic powder, and you can buy it pretty inexpensively at the big grocery stores in like gallon containers, and throwing it all around it actually helps with mosquito repelling as well as being systemic and going into the plant and helping repel insect damage.
Under the zucchini leaves, when you lift it up in the morning, the mosquitoes just swarm out. Really?
Interesting. Well, I think the garlic will help you with that too, so give that a shot. What we're doing on the mosquito.
Scatter it on the ground?
I'm sorry?
Just put it on the ground?
You can put the dry stuff on the ground, but the liquid, if you spray the plants real thoroughly, it would definitely be an additional amount of help. There's a couple of commercial products out there that should be fairly easy to find, and you can make the garlic spray yourself with my formula that's under guides on the homepage of dirtdoctor.com.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate the call, John. Thank you. Telephone number to be with me is 866-444-3478. If you want to get our free newsletter, you can do that right online on dirtdoctor.com. My next column in the Dallas Morning News is going to be a calendar. We have calendars in the organic manual. It's about what you do every month. But I'm putting it in my column of the Dallas Morning News as well. July comes up next.
How about the best how-to video classes for gardening, landscaping, and helping sick trees? The Torque online courses, designed and taught by the Dirt Doctor, clearly explain natural organic programs and why they work better in every way. They're fun, easy to understand, and affordable. To learn more or sign up for a course, go to dirtdoctor.com and click on the online class banner. That's dirtdoctor.com, or call 866-444-3478.
Learn to live the natural and organic life and be healthier from one of Howard Garrett's best-selling books. His natural organic programs and pest solutions work better in every way and can save you money. Learn about creating beautiful landscaping, delicious healthy food crops, safe pest management, and healthy living. Howard's books are useful coast to coast and border to border. You can learn about these helpful books by clicking on Howard's Books button on the top of his homepage of dirtdoctor.com.
To begin your natural organic program and get your lawn and garden off drugs, just follow Mother Nature's guide. First, stop hurting the life in the soil. Choose only products and techniques that are beneficial to the health of organisms above and in the soil. Stop using all synthetic fertilizers, toxic pesticides, and other toxic chemicals that harm living organisms. Avoid all high nitrogen synthetic fertilizers, especially nitrogen-only products. Toxic weed and feed products are the worst of all. Next, build soil health with aeration and natural organic fertilizers and amendments. And third, use native plants and well-adapted introductions. Finally, water only as needed. The organic program will reduce the watering requirements by about 50%. Mow turf as needed and mulch clippings into the lawn to return nutrients and organic matter to the soil. The natural way is fun, will save you money, and always works better in every way. After all, Mother Nature knows best. For more information about natural organic gardening, visit dirtdoctor.com.
Trees become infested with insects and diseases when they are in stress and sick. That's when Mother Nature sends in the cleanup crews. Insects and pathogens are just doing their jobs, trying to take out the unfit plants. Most plant sickness is environmental. Too much water, maybe not enough water. Too much fertilizer or the wrong kind of fertilizer. Toxic chemical pesticides, the compaction of soil, and grade changes. There could be ill-adapted plant varieties, overplanting certain plant species, and creating monocultures. The Dirt Doctor's tree health plan is simple. Keep trees in a stress-free condition so their immune systems can resist insects and diseases. The sick tree treatment is basically 1. Stop using high nitrogen fertilizers and toxic chemical pesticides. 2. Remove excess soil from the root flare. 3. Apply organic amendments. And 4. Spray trees and soil with Garrett Juice monthly. To learn more on maintaining healthy trees, go to dirtdoctor.com.
Compost is nature's own living fertilizer and can be made at home or purchased ready to use. It can be started any time of the year in sun or shade, and anything once living, plant or animal, can and should go into the compost. The ingredients in your compost should be a mix of coarse and fine-textured material to promote air circulation through the pile. Turn the pile as time allows to speed up the process. However, turning is not critical. Moisture is important. A compost pile should be roughly as wet as a squeezed-out sponge to help the living organisms thrive and work their magic. Compost is ready to use as a soil amendment when the ingredients are no longer identifiable. The color is a dark brown, the texture is soft and crumbly, and the smell is pleasant like the forest floor. Rough, unfinished compost can be used as top-dressing mulch around all plantings. Finished compost is used in potting soil and bed preparation. You can learn more about composting and natural organic gardening at dirtdoctor.com.
Now the birds beat me back. Howard back with you, and Nicholas will come to you in just a second. But first I wanted to talk about turf diseases real quick so I didn't let that slip by. There are some turf diseases showing up. Those of you that are watering too much are going to have more of that. Those of you putting out too much synthetic fertilizer are going to have more than that. You don't need, and of course I don't recommend that you go buy a toxic chemical to treat those situations. What you need to use is whole ground cornmeal. Put it out at 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet, and you can do it as a preventative or as a curative either way. You can also soak the cornmeal in water, strain the solids out, put the solids in a bed or something, a compost pile, whatever. Spray the cornmeal tea. It works as a disease control, especially on fungal diseases, which is what you're running into with the turf. And people are always sending us, which we encourage, plants and insects to identify. Usually I can do it. If I can't identify the plants, I refer people, and everybody ought to make a note of this, to BRIT over in Fort Worth, the Botanical Research Institute of Texas. They like helping identify plants, and they can do unusual ones. They do need really good photographs, and photographs of the leaves and the flowers, if possible, and the seed, if possible. In other words, more of the plant parts, the easier it is to identify. Same with me and helping. And insects, the same with me. We're pretty good about identifying insect things. I'm stumped on one right now. I've been working on it a couple of days. doing research, and it's a really interesting insect that looks like a. In fact, that's the next thing I want to try to track down. It may be kin to a cricket. It's a true bug. It's black and white in color and has a kind of a round, reddish brown head. And I have been stumped so far. So I'm continuing to look at that. But we're delighted to help with those. We're not 100%. We can't always come up with the answer. Some of the weeds that people send become a little bit hard to identify in some cases. We continue to get good reports back from people. We had one last week on the show about controlling broadleaf weeds and crabgrass and things in turf with a selective herbicide called Agrolon crabgrass control. So whatever your weed situation is, that's a tool besides the vinegars. Oh, I need to make a note of that. We need to talk about vinegar. I got something new on the vinegar subject for you, and we'll work that in as we can too. But right now, we're going to go talk to Nicholas in Fortuna, California. Are you hot out there, Nicholas?
Oh, hey, good morning, Howard. No, we're just close enough to the coast.
Okay, good. That's a lot better.
Now you go a few miles east to back inland, and that's where you get your cross into the mountains, and you're on fire there.
Really starts zooming up, yeah.
Yeah, sure does. But my question for you today is about ants. Got some ant issues going on, especially around my pet food.
Okay.
Just moved into a new house. We put down our pet bowls, and then overnight, a swarm of the very small ants have come out. And I'm not sure how I don't want to spray, an insecticide all over the area. I've put out a few of the traps that their main it said the main ingredient was borax.
Okay.
And so I put out some traps just throughout. But I was wondering what you might recommend to mix up a homemade spray. I know I've heard you say before that garlic pepper tea.
Well, garlic pepper tea might repel them a little bit. Wouldn't be not worth trying. I tell you what I would do though that probably would work better is cinnamon, and you can put the cinnamon out in a couple of ways. One, you can just buy the least expensive cinnamon powder you can find and just dust it out lightly. It's a really good insect repellent. Cinnamon is. You could also soak it in water and put it in a quart hand spritzer sprayer and spritz it out. No insect likes cinnamon very much at all, and I think the ants would be in that category. The other thing, this is one of those situations where dusting a little diatomaceous earth around the bowls, and even putting some natural diatomaceous earth, not the processed stuff that goes into swimming pool filters or anything like that. But the natural stuff in your pet's food is actually very beneficial for their digestion and for other health benefits. So the cinnamon and the DE together might be a good way for you to go. Okay,
I'm going to start with the dusting, I think, and making the spray. I know getting diatomaceous earth is pretty easy up here. Mm-hmm. I found they have all sorts of amendments going on. I see azomite is on the shelf. It's not hard to. You don't even have to ask. Bat guano is on the shelf. I mean, you can just walk up and pick up a bag of it. That's how. So it's pretty natural fertilizer. So you're saying the DE. Would that not the pool store DE, but you're saying the different? How would I know the difference on that?
It'll say food grade on it.
Food grade.
Yeah, the ones that are on the market all come from the same place, and it'll say 80. It'll say something in the specs. On the label, it'll say 85% silica dioxide, and 85% silica dioxide, and then 15% other ingredients, including moisture. You'll have a hard time believing there's any moisture in it when you feel it because it's so dry. That's how it kills. It desiccates the insects. But when it's moist, it doesn't have any insect killing power at all. but it is good for livestock and pets. And some people, I do from time to time, ingest a little to help with digestion and things like that.
Sure.
But give the cinnamon a shot and let me know how it works for you, okay?
Absolutely. That's we're going there after church this morning.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling.
Talk to you later.
Open line for you at 866-444-DIRT, which is 3478. 866-444-3478. Let me tell you what I've run into with vinegar. Kind of an interesting thing. For some time now, people have been asking me about it, and I've run into it in the big box stores going in to pick up waste material for my art and everything. But that is that the vinegar has become available in 30% concentration. And I've gotten quite a few calls about it. I've done it came up on Bob's show Saturday. I do visit with Bob Webster on his show every Saturday morning, and one of his listeners had mentioned getting some 30% vinegar and how to dilute it and that sort of thing. Well, there's a couple of issues here. One is, in the past, if you read any of my books from the past, I used to be pretty strong, and even on the website, I used to be pretty strong not recommending 20% vinegar, 20%. And the reason was, one of the listeners called and said, hey, why are you recommending that vinegar, 20%? Don't you know that's a petroleum-based product? And I didn't know that. I looked into it, and lo and behold, vinegar can be made from petroleum. And it also, the more pure stuff is made from alcohol, from, fermented grain alcohol. And you can get it in 5%, 10%, 20%, but I didn't know there was 30%. And lo and behold, there is. So I started looking into it and trying to figure out how to find out if it was a petroleum-based product or not. It's probably not the end of the world if you use a petroleum-based product to kill weeds mixed with the acidic acid that's created from it and the organic amendments that we use. Probably the petroleum part of it breaks down pretty easily. But I don't know yet for 100% fact. But yesterday I ran into something else. I was in the store, and right out in the middle, a big display, wasn't an end cap, it was right out in the middle of the floor, there was a big display of vinegar. And it was 45% vinegar. And I thought, holy cow, I wonder how much more there is about vinegar here that I don't know. I didn't know that. I looked at the label, and it said it was, acetic acid, 45%. And that's all it said. It didn't tell you anything about inactive ingredients or anything like that. It was sold as an oxy cleaner kind of thing. Oh, wait, I'm talking, that's hydrogen peroxide. Different story. The 45% and even higher levels of vinegar I ran into when I was looking up MSDS sheets to try to find out whether it was a petroleum-based product or not. Well, the MSDS sheets on vinegar, same thing with hydrogen peroxide too, by the way, don't really give you much information. The only thing the MSDS said on the vinegar was that it had acetic acid in it. And it was real long. It was a real long MSDS sheet. It had a bunch of technical abbreviations and things, which is what I'm looking into now about what all that refers to. But anyway, there is more to this vinegar situation than I thought. I'm going to stick with either 20%. 20% is the easiest one to use if you're going to do what I'm doing right now, and that's treating nutsedge. Mix a half a cup up to a cup of liquid molasses in water and treat, and use the vinegar to kind of spur it along, use the hydrogen peroxide to kind of spur it along, all those kind of things. The 20% vinegar is what I use to spray and kill foliage, although you can use 10% vinegar, which is pickling vinegar, mix the 2 ounces of orange oil with it. use less vinegar, save some money. It'll work just as well as the 20. The reason I've kind of came over and said, okay, 20% is okay to use is that there are about 5 different companies now that make horticultural vinegar and sell it as a registered, it's exempt actually by the EPA, but it's registered as an organic herbicide, the 20% stuff. And so we started using that. We used it as the way to do a project that required that everything be labeled properly and all that. Some of the critics say that, we recommend things that aren't labeled that are homemade. And we do. We don't have a problem with that at all. We do from time to time. But on the other hand, if you don't want to do that, everything in every category that we recommend has an EPA registered product. And that goes for the disease controls, the pest controls, and everything. Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'll be back right after this. Tired of pain and poor health? Well, before you operate or medicate, regenerate with Infinity Stem Cells to activate your body's internal repair system, just as I did. It's simple, safe, effective, and affordable. To learn more, call 800-341-2650. Regenerative medicine and stem cell therapy is the future of medicine, personal health, and longevity. Call 800-341-2650 or visit achievevitality.net.
How about the best how-to video classes for gardening, landscaping, and helping sick trees? The Torque online courses, designed and taught by the Dirt Doctor, clearly explain natural organic programs and why they work better in every way. They're fun, easy to understand, and affordable. To learn more or sign up for a course, go to dirtdoctor.com and click on the online class banner. That's dirtdoctor.com or call 866-444-3478.
Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, here for Crazy Water. Crazy Water is what I drink, and you should too. Crazy Water is naturally alkaline with trace minerals and electrolytes for taste, health, and body balance. Go to drinkcrazywater.com to find nearby stores across Texas. That's drinkcrazywater.com. Crazy Water has been helping people feel better since 1881. It's so good, it's crazy.
Mosquitoes can transmit deadly diseases including Zika virus and West Nile virus, but Summit Mosquito Dunks kills mosquitoes before they are old enough to bite. Just float an organic mosquito dunk in ponds, bird baths, rain barrels, and any standing water to kill mosquito larvae for 30 days or longer. Don't worry, mosquito dunks won't harm people, pets, fish, or wildlife. Mosquito dunks are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and online retailers. For more information, go to summitresponsiblesolutions.com.
Trees become infested with insects and diseases when they are in stress and sick. That's when Mother Nature sends in the cleanup crews. Insects and pathogens are just doing their jobs, trying to take out the unfit plants. Most plant sickness is environmental. Too much water, maybe not enough water. Too much fertilizer, or the wrong kind of fertilizer. Toxic chemical pesticides, the compaction of soil, and grade changes. There could be ill-adapted plant varieties, overplanting certain plant species, and creating monocultures. The Dirt Doctor's tree health plan is simple. Keep trees in a stress-free condition so their immune systems can resist insects and diseases. The sick tree treatment is basically 1. Stop using high nitrogen fertilizers and toxic chemical pesticides. 2. Remove excess soil from the root flare. 3. Apply organic amendments. And 4. Spray trees and soil with Garrett Juice Monthly. To learn more on maintaining healthy trees, go to dirtdoctor.com.
Here are some myths and truths about healthy eating. Myth: vitamin B12 can be obtained from certain plant sources such as blue-green algae and soy products. Truth: vitamin B12 is not absorbed from plant sources. Modern soy products increase the body's need for B12. Myth: animal fats cause cancer and heart disease. Truth: animal fats contain many nutrients that protect against cancer and heart disease. Elevated rates of cancer and heart disease are associated with consumption of large amounts of processed vegetable oils. Myth: children benefit from a low-fat diet. Truth: children on low-fat diets suffer from growth problems, failure to thrive, and learning disabilities. Visit howardgarrett.com for more information on living a healthier lifestyle and for finding great natural organic products.
Regret going solar? Are your bills more than promised? Is your solar company not responding to calls? Are you basically stuck in a bad solar deal? Well, if so, Solar Patrol can help you. They advocate for solar customers who've been wronged by solar companies. Get the results you expected. Let Solar Patrol fix these bad situations and business practices. Solar Patrol will deliver results in 30 days or less in most cases. In the instance where the installer is nowhere to be found, Solar Patrol can repair or correct issues and hold the original installer responsible. Solar Patrol will resolve any solar issues, help you be more informed about purchasing solar, and provide other services that makes owning solar less of a headache. Protect yourself from solar scams by contacting them today. Call 469-552-7454 or go to solarpatrol.com. 469-552-7454 or solarpatrol.com.
It is not uncommon for the air inside a home or office to be more toxic than the air outside. This is because of the presence of toxic materials that outgas and the fact that homes and buildings are better sealed and insulated than ever before. Keeping windows open as often as possible allows fresh air in and keeps toxins flowing out. This is especially important when cleaning your home. Skip the store-bought air fresheners and instead try boiling cinnamon, cloves, or any other pleasant herbs. Also, plants may not make your house smell different, but are good for filtering contaminated interior air. Natural organic cleaning products are now on the market and are competing for that spot under your sink. They are non-toxic and they do not put off toxic gases. Visit howardgarrett.com for more information on how to live a healthier lifestyle and to find great products for your home that work well and don't contaminate the air.
Okay, telephone number is 866-444-3478. We were talking about the vinegar, all the different levels of vinegar, and there's stronger and stronger vinegar on the market all the time. So just be careful about that. The other thing related to that, I was spraying some 20% vinegar the other day in a pea gravel. I have a driveway at the office that was there when we bought the place. I never would have done it like this, but it's a pea gravel driveway, and it has weeds popping up in it all the time. And one of the techniques, first technique I use there is a push-pull hoe. Works really well in pea gravel. But the other thing is to spray vinegar. And I had some 20% vinegar, and I was spraying it a couple of days ago on a really hot day. And the volatilization of vinegar on a hot day happens quickly. And with the 20%, there is a strong fragrance that comes up, and you're breathing some pretty powerful stuff there with that strong vinegar. And so that's why the stronger, the 30 and 40% stuff would really be a concern to me unless you're doing it on a very still and cooler day. And that's why I really recommend the 10% formula that's on our website on dirtdoctor.com the most. And then I brought up hydrogen peroxide, and I need to talk about that a little bit more. Hydrogen peroxide is a little bit the same way. Hydrogen peroxide is available in the grocery stores as 3%. I've heard people say it's available in 1%. I've never seen it like that. I assume it is. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but 3% is normally what's in the grocery stores and the pharmacies and that sort of thing. And at 3%, that's what you use on a cut finger or something like that. People use around the house and that sort of thing. It can be used at that level, as I mentioned earlier in the show, for disease control on plants. If you're dealing in cool weather, if you're dealing in hot weather, I wouldn't do that. I would dilute it 50-50 with water or with the Garrett juice or with compost tea or fish and seaweed or something like that. You'll still get the disease control, but not have to worry about the burn as much. But hydrogen peroxide, like I ran into in the store the other day, is available in much higher quantities, in much higher concentrations, rather. The one I was looking at the other day was 45%. And that's dangerous to handle. You got to be careful. I was a little surprised that they were able to just have that out and sell that like that, because the 20% stuff, the 27%, the 30% stuff that's available is, and there's a 30 or 35% hydrogen peroxide product that's on the market that's labeled as a disease control. But you mix it at like 1 ounce per gallon of water. I mean, you don't put it out anywhere near the concentrated stuff that's coming out of the bottle. And the reason is it'll burn you, and it'll burn you badly. The concentrated stuff, it'll burn your skin so bad when it first goes on your skin. And ask me how I learned this the hard way. When it first goes on your skin, it feels like you had water go on your skin. And then in about 20 seconds, it starts to tingle. And then in a few more seconds, it starts to burn like crazy. And your skin will just turn snow white. Well, imagine how bad that would be to get in your eyes. So you got to be careful with the concentrated stuff. This 45% cleaner really makes you want to scratch your head. Hydrogen peroxide is a fascinating thing. It's taken internally medicinally by some people at the very low levels. It's used to kill plants, used as a herbicide at 10% concentration. It's really good for aquatic plants. If you want to kill things that are floating on the surface of water, like primrose or lily pads that you don't want or something like that, the 10% stuff, you could use stronger, but you really need to be careful. But the 10% stuff usually is enough, and it'll kill those things in the water. It'll control algae and things like that. I use it for string algae. I use the 3% stuff for string algae. I use the 27% hydrogen peroxide in the swimming pool. Well, I did it one time. It never has come back again. The mustard algae that people in the swimming pool industry will generally tell you there's nothing you can do without using chemicals. Well, there is. Hydrogen peroxide, the 27% to 30% stuff poured in the pool. We've got the concentrations and the recommended rates and all that kind of thing on dirtdoctor.com. It's under hydrogen peroxide in the library and tells you how to use it for all those things. But it killed the mustard algae in our swimming pool, and it has never come back. We haven't had a problem with it since. So use those things, but remember that at the concentrated levels, they are a problem. Hydrogen peroxide, by the way, if you don't know it, in solid form is rocket fuel. So you go from it being used internally to rocket fuel and all those things in between. And I just got a message that we have a winner on Instagram of the mystery photo. It is the evergreen or sweet viburnum that I like so much. It's the one that has foliage that you can cut the foliage and it'll stay beautiful basically forever or for a long, long time. It'll root in water. You can use it outside where Judy and I use it a lot. You can use it inside the house. It's beautiful, beautiful foliage. The first time mine ever flowered was the photograph that you're seeing, and it was probably from the freezing weather of February. I'm Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'll be back with you right after this.